My boyfriend's white moonlight and I both took the college entrance exam. I scored 707, she scored 706. When it came time to fill out our college preferences, I chose Tsinghua University as my first choice. But when the admission letter came, my form said, Tiandiao University. I was confused until I overheard my boyfriend and his white moonlight talking. Good thing I changed Lin Meng's college choice in time. Tsinghua only accepts 10 people. If she got in, you wouldn't make it. It was only then I realized, my boyfriend had secretly changed my application just to help his white moonlight. I rushed over to confront them. But they were afraid I'd tell someone. They knocked me out, stuffed me in a sack, and dumped me in the suburbs. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the very day of filling out college preferences. The first thing I did after being reborn was fix my application. Meng, let's go eat after submitting our choices. Okay? That familiar voice made it clear. I really had come back. Meng, why aren't you saying anything? Duong Nam's voice pulled me back to reality. I frowned and held my stomach. I don't feel so good. My stomach suddenly started hurting. I don't think I can eat. What? Why so suddenly? He asked. Concerned. I don't know, it just started hurting bad. I really can't eat today. But didn't we agree to celebrate after submitting our choices? Forget it. I didn't wait for him to say anything else. I turned around and left. The moment I stepped out of the school gate, I sprinted home like a track athlete. Once I got back, I opened my laptop and checked, just as I suspected. Duong Nam had changed my Tsinghua application to Tiandiao. In my past life, I trusted him too much. He'd volunteered to help me submit my choices. And I didn't question him. It wasn't until he and Bai Lin threw me in a sack and dumped me that I realized how wrong I was. Thankfully, the application system still allowed changes. I immediately corrected my first choice. That night, I had the best sleep of both my lives. The next morning, I got a call from Duong Nam. Hello, Meng, are you feeling better? Yeah, I'm much better after a good night's sleep. That's good. He hesitated. I know how much you want to go to Tsinghua. So I helped you put it as your first choice. You're not going to change it, right? Of course not. If you already selected Tsinghua for me, why would I change it? Great. Hearing the answer he wanted, Duong Nam chatted for a few more moments. Then quickly hung up. I bet he rushed off to share the good news with Bai Lin. Too bad, he never expected I'd be reborn. This time, I won't let them get what they want. Just like in my previous life. Soon after the deadline for submitting applications, rumors started spreading in the neighborhood that I'd gotten into Tsinghua. Bai Lin, Duong Nam's white moonlight, lived right next door. So of course she heard too. One day, while I was taking out the trash, we ran into each other. Lin Meng, I heard your first choice is Tsinghua, she asked. Yeah, that's right. Wow, you're confident. You really think you'll get in? Bai Lin asked with fake curiosity. I replied calmly. I did my research. Tsinghua only accepts 10 students this year. My score fits perfectly. Tsinghua is the dream of students across the country. Why would I choose Tiandiao instead? Bai Lin didn't catch the hidden meaning in my words. She even laughed out loud. You're right. With your score, you should pick Tsinghua. Who'd choose Tiandiao, right? But life is unpredictable. Nothing's certain until the admission letters arrive. From the look on her face, I could tell she knew Duong Nam had tampered with my application. So I nodded and played along. You're right. Nothing's certain yet. What about you? What school did you apply to? I asked. Tsinghua, of course. They only accept 10 students. But who knows? Maybe I'll make it, she replied. I gave a small nod. You're right. Hopefully, we both get in and become classmates. Bai Lin didn't respond, but I saw a flash of mockery in her eyes. As if she were thinking. As if I'd ever want to go to school with you. Tiandiao would suit you better. Not long after, the deadline for applications officially ended. The moment submissions closed, Duong Nam came to find me. Meng, I didn't know whether to tell you this, but I can't keep hiding it anymore. He looked guilty and conflicted as he spoke. The truth is, I've always liked Bai Lin. I only dated you because I was upset with her. But I realized that's not fair to you. After thinking about it for a long time, I decided to come clean. He probably waited until it was too late to change applications, so he could break up without worrying I'd outshine his precious Bai-Lin. He didn't want a girlfriend going to some no-name university like TNDAO. Honestly, I'd been wondering how to get rid of him. Since he delivered himself to my door, how could I not happily let him go? So I said, "It's okay, I understand. If you love Bai-Lin, you should be with her. I wish you two happiness." He had braced himself for a dramatic breakup and a flood of questions. But when I agreed so easily, all his prepared excuses caught in his throat. From then on, I spent my days peacefully waiting for the admission results. Aside from reading a little each day, I mostly rested at home. Meanwhile, Bai-Lin was busy bragging everywhere that she'd gotten into Tsinghua. Even her gambling-addicted father, Bai Trong-jiang, knew about it. Maybe she told him about Duong Nam changing my application, because they were both convinced she'd get in. Every time he passed my house, he'd scoff and spit on the ground. "A girl like you? You'll end up working under my daughter one day." To fund his gambling, he started borrowing money from everyone. Our apartment walls were thin, so I could hear his calls at night. "Uncle, lend me 100.000. I'm good for it. My daughter got into Tsinghua. The school gives a 100.000 yuan bonus just for that. She might get corporate sponsorship too. Third uncle, send me 50.000. My daughter's gonna be a big shot CEO after graduating from Tsinghua. She'll earn millions a year." Heaven came to my parents for money. "I heard your daughter got into some no-name school? She can't compare to mine. Suck up to me now. Lend me some cash. Maybe I'll have my daughter help Lin Meng find a job later. If not, she'll be unemployed." My parents were speechless. "But our daughter scored higher than yours. Who says she's going to a no-name school?" "Ha, still talking big?" he sneered, laughing in their faces. "Just wait. When the letters come out, even if you beg me for money, I won't give you a cent." Then he snorted and continued going door to door asking for loans. When the admission letters finally arrived, Duong Nam went to Bai-Lin's place at dawn. The two of them waited at the building entrance. My parents also came downstairs with me, smiling proudly. And who did we run into? Bai-Lin, of course. "Lin Meng, you're waiting for your letter too?" she asked with a pitying look. "If it doesn't say Tsinghua, don't feel too bad. Life is full of surprises. Just because it's your dream doesn't mean it'll come true. You should prepare yourself. Don't get your hopes up too high." Hearing the same words as in my past life, I couldn't help but find it laughable. I let out a dismissive, "Oh," and stopped paying attention to her. Not long after, he arrived, holding an envelope, my acceptance letter from Tsinghua University. The neighbors, seeing the bold Tsinghua characters on the envelope, quickly gathered around, curious. As soon as Bai Zhang, Bai Ling's father, caught sight of the letter, he began shouting, "Haha, my daughter's Tsinghua letter has finally arrived. You blind fools still wouldn't lend me money. Now that my daughter got into Tsinghua, all you know is jealousy." Outside the school gates, Duong Nam stood there under the scorching sun. His once neat appearance now disheveled. His eyes were filled with regret and desperation. "Lam Mong, I was wrong. I've been wrong this whole time. Please, forgive me." Lam Mong slowly approached, expression calm and detached. She stared straight into his eyes, voice clear and cold. "You used to say I was nothing but a substitute. That I wasn't good enough. So tell me, what changed now?" Duong Nam opened his mouth, but no words came out. She smiled faintly, eyes sharp like blades. "Do you know what the best revenge is? It's not yelling, not slapping you in public, not even tearing you apart with insults. It's proving that I'm doing perfectly fine without you." She turned to leave, but before she could take another step, a scream pierced through the air. "It's all your fault." Bok Lin, hair in disarray, face twisted in madness, lunged forward with a fruit knife. Splash! The blade stabbed into Duong Nam's shoulder. Blood splattered across the concrete. Everyone screamed. The security guards tackled Bok Lin to the ground. She thrashed, shrieking like a wild beast. "It was her. She ruined everything. She took everything from me." Lam Mong stood frozen for a moment, then calmly took out her phone and dialed. "Hello, police? I'd like to report an attempted murder." 1 week later, courtroom. The courtroom was silent. Bok Lin, now in prison uniform, stood in the defendant's box. Her face was pale, Her former arrogance nowhere to be found. She had lost everything: reputation, scholarships, her future. The judge's gavel slammed down. Defendant Bok Lin is sentenced to 5 years in prison. She collapsed to the floor, screaming hysterically. No, this can't be. It was supposed to be mine. That acceptance letter was mine. My life was supposed to be perfect. Lam Mong, seated among the public, watched with an unreadable expression. As she stepped out of the courtroom, the sun shone brightly. Her phone buzzed. A message from Tsinghua University. Congratulations, you have been accepted. Not long after, the principal called her in. She was awarded a 200,000 yuan scholarship. And her story was published in national media. Everyone once blind to her brilliance now looked up in awe. He pointed around at the crowd, cursing, then walked right up to my parents with a smug tone. And you too, aren't you both university professors? Always looking down on me for gambling. Always saying I couldn't raise a decent child. Now open your eyes. Even a gambler like me can raise a daughter who gets into Tsinghua. And your well-educated family? All you produced is a daughter who got into some third-rate college, not even worth a hair on my daughter's head. Seeing Bai Yang's completely unhinged display, my parents said nothing, just furrowed their brows. Bai Ling, on the other hand, still looked at me with her usual sympathetic gaze. Lin Meng, don't feel too bad when they open the acceptance letter later. Okay? Even Duan Nian looked at me with pity. Bai Ling's right, not everyone can get into Tsinghua. So if you didn't make it, don't take it too hard. Hearing that, I glanced at them both and replied coldly. You two can comfort each other. Just then, the delivery guy came running over with 2 envelopes, both from Tsinghua. Who's the recipient? Before he could finish, Bai Ling lunged forward excitedly. It's mine. Give it to me. That's my Tsinghua letter. But the courier pulled the envelope back and continued reading. Recipient, Lin Meng. What nonsense are you saying? That's my letter. I'm Bai Ling. She glared and tried to grab it from him. The delivery guy frowned and stepped back. Why are you snatching it? Your letter's here too. From Qingdiao Technical University in Lianhua Port. Everyone fell silent for a second. Then burst into laughter. Qing what? What even is that? Didn't she say she got into Tsinghua? Why is it a countryside tech school now? Bai Ling's face turned ashen. She couldn't believe it and rushed to grab the letter. No way. I checked. Tsinghua only accepted 1 student in this district and I was the only one who applied. How could they not accept me? She ripped open her own envelope in a panic. A cheap piece of paper slipped out. Handwritten. Congratulations on being admitted to Qingdiao Technical Vocational College. Impossible. You must have done something, Lin Meng. Did you swap our letters? Qingdiao was clearly your choice. Losing her mind, Bai Ling charged toward me, only to be held back by my father, who calmly pushed her aside. What are you saying? University letters are sent directly from the schools. How could my daughter possibly switch them? Duan Yan rushed to help Bai Ling and said anxiously. If Lin Meng didn't switch the letters, how did she get into Tsinghua? She clearly registered for Qingdiao. Finally, he said it. I stepped forward with a cold smile. And how would you know that I applied to Qingdiao? As far as I remember, I told you my scores were good enough for Tsinghua. Didn't you personally help me apply? Duan Yan's expression darkened. With your scores? Tsinghua belongs to Bai Ling. Who do you think you are to compete with her? Hand over that letter. Go back to your Qingdiao. So he finally dropped the act and showed his true face. He tried to grab my acceptance letter. But I only smiled. The letter has my real name on it. Even if you manage to snatch it, it's useless. Tsinghua doesn't accept impersonators. Liar. That letter must have my name on it. Bai Ling, face red with rage, lunged forward and tore open my envelope. 2 clear characters stared back at her. Lin Meng. She froze, murmuring, no way, no way. Then her father, Bai Zhang, stormed over, yelling, you little B*TCH. What's going on? Didn't you say it was Tsinghua? Didn't you say we'd get prize money? If we don't get it, those loan sharks will beat me to death. Think of something. Get that money for me. Now. Before he could finish screaming, drums and gongs sounded from outside the neighborhood gate. Leading the group is our school principal. Seeing me, the principal beamed with joy. We're here to deliver the prize money for Tsinghua's top student. The crowd surged forward in excitement. Principal, we heard the Tsinghua prize is 100 yuan, is that true? 100.000? No way. The principal laughed so hard it looked like his face would split open. He handed me the certificate and announced proudly. This year, the reward has doubled. 200.000 yuan. Oh my god? Amid the gasps and murmurs, Bai Zhang shoved through the crowd and grabbed the principal. Why are you giving her 200.000? Her score was only 1 point higher than my daughter's. Why not give it to Bai Ling? Did her professor parents bribe you or something? If you don't explain, I won't let this go. A man already known for being shameless. Bai Zhang completely lost it at the sight of money. But the principal remained composed. He simply frowned and said, you should be asking your daughter. Based on her score, she could have easily gotten into other top universities. But because she was so sure she'd get into Tsinghua, she left all her other options blank. And in the end, only Qingdiao accepted her. That's not true. I didn't. Bai Ling couldn't hold back her tears. She turned and cried, Duan Nian, didn't you say I definitely get into Tsinghua? That I didn't need to list any backup choices? What is Qingdiao? Duan Nian's face fell. He stammered, I didn't. I mean, I knew what he was about to say. But in front of all these people, if he dared admit he had tampered with my application, I'd report him to the police on the spot. And he knew that, so he stayed quiet, glaring at me furiously. But I didn't care. I respectfully invited the principal and the guests into our home, and welcomed the reporters who had come to interview me. For the next few days, our apartment complex buzzed with excitement. Friends, neighbors, and journalists flooded in to offer congratulations. Everyone treated me with admiration and praise. I remembered the last life. When Bai Ling got into Tsinghua, our neighborhood was just as lively. Journalists swarmed to interview her, praising her as the best student ever. Parents brought their kids to bask in her luck. They admired her like a celebrity. And me? Just because I went to the same elementary school as her, people mocked and looked down on me. Wow, one got into Tsinghua and the other into Qingdiao? What a disgrace. Exactly. And she's the daughter of professors too. What a shameful failure. If I were her, I'd be too embarrassed to live. The endless humiliation in that past life had driven me to seek out Duan Nian and Bai Ling, only to be ruined by them in the end. But this time, I will make sure they suffer the fate I once did.
His voice was a bit hoarse, and he looked pretty exhausted. Director Liu, here's your coffee. I placed the cup on the table, not daring to look up. So bitter it serves me right. My life's just as bitter. I'll keep that in mind next time. I gave a standard office smile, hesitated a bit, then cautiously asked, Director Liu, about yesterday. He coughed lightly. Make me another cup. I turned around to make another one, cursing silently in my head. This guy drinks coffee every single day, freshly ground. No less. Grumbling under my breath, I made another cup and brought it over. Here, old man. He downed it in one go. Director Liu, I started to speak again. Make another. Yes, sir, I replied with a forced smile, grinding my teeth. Half an hour later, another cup. The coffee grinder was about to spark. My hand was numb, and my arm was almost jacked. 5 iced Americanos straight in the morning. Was this guy not afraid of diarrhea? I set the 5th cup on the table and couldn't hold it in anymore. Director, about yesterday, I sent you a message on WeChat and typed the wrong word. He looked up in surprise, coffee cup in hand. What did you say? I meant to ask if it was the first option, but I accidentally typed, wedding. I forced a smile and couldn't help but ask. But, why did you come downstairs to my place yesterday? He cleared his throat and replied coldly. Just wanted to remind you to stay focused at work. Then what was that about? I'll reluctantly let you kiss me. I asked, still confused. He coughed again and arrogantly said, Oh, that was my cat. Stepped on the screen and accidentally hit send. Don't overthink it. Since when do you have a cat? I'm still thinking about that. I mumbled, thinking I almost had my Cinderella moment. Suddenly, he straightened up. What are you thinking? Nothing at all. If Lu Jing really liked me, he'd have to be blind. Since joining the company, my biggest contribution has been causing trouble. This week, I booked a shared ride instead of a private car for a VIP client. Last week, I booked a plane ticket in the wrong direction. He sat in economy. I sat in first class. The week before, I was his driver. As soon as he got in, I slammed the gas and gave him an accidental stretch session. And before that, I took an unflattering photo of him, made it into a sticker, and accidentally sent it to the work group chat. Since then, he told me to just quietly do odd jobs. During the morning meeting, Lu Jing kept his tradition of yelling at the department heads. The others all bowed their heads like obedient kids, while I happily did my little chores, chatting with my bestie on WeChat and snacking on fruit. My friend, with how bad you are at work, why hasn't your boss fired you yet? Take a guess. Because I'm cheap. You get what you pay for. I'm going to prove to him that cheap stuff is still bad. Be honest. Isn't your boss the cold, handsome CEO type? Never felt a little flutter? Cold. My foot. What a joke. Last month, he lost a project to a rival company. He cursed for 2 hours straight without repeating himself once. His mouth is vicious. After the rant, he even told me to sneak into the rival company, cut their internet, shut off the power, and replace their Lucky Charms with pictures of him. Have you ever seen a donkey fall in love with the whip that beats it? I sneakily grabbed another cherry tomato, still ranting to my friend. She replied, "But what if the whip is long?" I instantly got what she meant. Face turning red, I snuck a glance at Lu Jing's pants. Damn, there's potential. I swallowed hard and bit into the tomato in my mouth. I wasn't paying attention, and tomato juice sprayed right onto his most private area. Lu Jing was mid-rant, but suddenly fell silent. His gaze locked onto me. I trembled, bowed my head. I'm a good girl now. Please spare me. I won't eat tomatoes again. I swear. I sneakily tossed a few blackberries into my mouth instead. Midnight mishap. CEO trouble in pajamas. I woke up in the middle of the night needing to pee. Opened my eyes. Holy crap. Why am I in my boss's bed? Luke Can was lying next to me. Fast asleep. Completely exhausted, and completely naked. Obviously, I had eaten him up. Every last bit. Thinking back to last night, my brain went completely numb. I tried to drag my sore body out of bed, but even moving a little made me flinch. This place was absolutely not safe anymore. Fearing Luke Can might find me, I escaped to my parents' house to temporarily go into hiding. I slept till noon. When I finally checked my phone, there were tons of missed calls and unread messages from Luke Can. Grinding my teeth, I blocked his number on the spot. My head was spinning. I felt dizzy and finally realized I had a fever. Guess last night really wrecked me. More texts kept coming in from ding ding ding. Luke Can. Lam Tu Jiu. Where are you? Why did you block me? Don't you trust me? I'll call the cops on you. Warning. I'll deduct your salary. Hey, can you answer me? I was just teasing you a bit. We already slept together. Are you seriously planning not to take responsibility? My vision blurred. On instinct, I typed a single word. 1. Immediately, my phone rang. Then a storm of messages followed. 1. What do you mean by that? That's your reply. If I knew you'd brush me off like that, I wouldn't have let you go wild last night. HMPH. I get it now. 1 means yes. Right. Couldn't you at least type one more word? Still feverish and dazed, I barely kept up. TD. Luke Can. Lam Tu Jiu. What's that supposed to mean? Where are you now? Out flirting with some random guy at a bar again? Go ahead. If you dare, I'll fire you for real. Don't go. Please. Ugh. He was so annoying. With what little strength I had left, I unfollowed him and changed my avatar to RIP. Died at home. I was bedridden all day and only started to feel better by evening. My stomach growled like crazy, so I dragged myself to the kitchen. As I opened the door, I saw someone sitting there. My little brother. I instantly kicked his butt. You sneaky brat, eating without me again. He dropped to the floor, stared up, and gasped, WTF. Why is it my boss? My mom barged in, holding a knife. Lamb to you. What are you doing? That's your cousin. Helping me peel garlic. My cousin. I froze. Mom explained. Yeah, your aunt's son. That's your caca. You two used to be super close when you were kids. Don't you remember? I stood there, utterly dumbfounded. Luke Can looked at me like a bolt of lightning had struck. When I was a kid, I had a best friend named Tu. Cute face. Troublemaker. One day, he vanished, and I cried for ages. Mom told me his parents divorced, and he changed his last name when he moved with his mom. Oh, my God, my boss is my cousin, and I slept with him. Mom kept going. Can. Our little chewing goo's been acting real strange lately, sneaking in late at night. Looking like death warmed over. Fever the whole next day. Luke Can asked, you caught a cold? Where'd you go in the middle of the night? I stammered. Mom turned to him. How do you know she got home in the middle of the night? I jumped in. He guessed. At dinner, I chewed like sawdust while Mom couldn't stop praising him. Can. You're amazing, so young and already a boss. Just look at my daughter. She even teased me. Any job openings at your company? Take her with you. She's being exploited at her current job. Her boss is mean, venomous. Luke Can smiled, the corner of his mouth twitching. Oh, really? He shot me a meaningful glance. I was doomed. Mom didn't stop. The boss makes her work overtime and even deducts her pay. She curses him and his ancestors daily. Then she asked, Can. Got a girlfriend yet? Luke Can. Not yet. Mom gasped. Seriously, with your looks and career, you must have gotten dumped, slept around and refused to take responsibility. Girls these days, no morals. Then she turned to me. You. If you know any nice girls, introduce them to your cousin. I muttered. Mom, please stop. Mom rolled her eyes. I'm doing this for your future. Dinner from hell finally ended. Mom made me walk, my cousin, downstairs. I slouched like a sick chicken. Luke Can faced me, voice low. Fever's gone. I nodded like a robot. He started, about that night. I cut him off. I resign. Luke Can. Denied. Then I'll get all my co-workers to quit with me. He sighed. Let's pretend nothing happened. I mumbled. Nothing happened. He stared at me. You promised to take responsibility that night. Pillow talk means nothing. Responsibility equals a relationship. But you're my cousin. We can't get married. I was collapsing internally. Are you trying to scam me? That's straight out of a children's cartoon. Luke Can looked at me like I was hopeless. Lamb to you. Cousin what? We're not related at all. I froze. You're not my cousin. God, still as dumb as you were back then. I whispered. Then, do you love me? He smirked. What do you think? I had a sudden epiphany. He doesn't want me to quit so he won't have to pay me. Personal secretary by day, love slave by night, 24/7 job. Luke Can gritted his teeth. Who said the company's bankrupt? The company's yours now, satisfied. I jumped back. Are you trying to pin debt on me? He pulled out his phone. WC just received 5.2 million yuan. Wait, he's actually rich. Who was the one bawling? Begging to marry me back then. And now you're bailing. He moved in closer. Want me to tell your mom everything? I surrendered. Please no. Tell me directly. He pulled me into a hug. It felt strangely familiar. No dating others. It'll affect work. But I am others. Exactly. Who's meaner than me? I'm a master of savage. I pouted. Can you stop saying stuff that stabs me in the heart? And just like that, we began our blurry little romance. Whenever I didn't reply to him while gaming, his texts would flood in. Baby, I love you. Did you know that? Your phone isn't broken, so why no reply? Am I the third wheel? Is your ex back? 10 minutes no answer. You must be marrying him now. Half a day offline. You really planning to leave me? I read the messages and wanted to sew his mouth shut forever. Luke Can. Why aren't you at work? I just woke up. Stayed up late again? No, I just don't want to go to work. Take leave. Deducting 500. Try me. You'll lose your girlfriend. Not daring anymore. Kitten's mad. If you don't come, I'll be all alone in the office. So scary. I replied. I need to fully recover. Taking a few more days off. Luke can. I can help you recover, even faster. After resting for a few days, I finally felt like a human again. My bestie dragged me out to hang out. As soon as I stepped out the door, a black Maybach pulled up. The window rolled down. Luke Can's cold face appeared. I froze. Get in, he said. No thanks. I turned around to run. But 2 assistants had already flanked me on either side. I was forcibly escorted into the car. Kidnapping, I shouted. Luke Can replied calmly. Abduction. You're my girlfriend. This is called picking up my baby. The car drove straight to the company. I was dragged into the office. The moment the elevator doors opened, the whole company turned to look. All the employees stared at me, jaws practically on the floor. Someone whispered, "Damn, the boss's woman." I covered my face, wishing I could dig a hole and disappear. In the CEO's office, I sat on the couch, trying to shrink into a cushion. Luke Can threw a file onto the table. Look through this. Get familiar with the company's structure. I blinked. Huh, why me? He leaned in close, eyes dangerous. Didn't you say you'd take responsibility? Are you trying to back out? I raised my hand. I didn't mean company responsibility. I meant like, an apology gift or something. He sneered. The gift is me. Take it or leave it. He straightened up, walking toward the desk. From now on, you're my personal assistant, working right next to me. I panicked. Wait, isn't that nepotism? People will talk. He turned back with a sly grin. Let them. Who can stop me? I slumped into the couch in despair. Being in love with a CEO is cool in dramas. But in real life, exhausting as hell. On my first day as his assistant, I wore a formal outfit and walked into the company like I was heading into battle. The moment I stepped into the office, everyone's eyes were on me. That's her, the boss's new assistant. Isn't she the one who fainted in his arms the other day? No background, no experience. She must have gotten in through the bedroom door. I heard she even made the boss smile. Creepy. I clenched my fists and smiled politely. Can't throw hands. Gotta stay classy. Inside the CEO's office, Luke Can handed me a tablet. Sort out my schedule. Cancel everything that's not important. I stared at the jam-packed calendar. Sir, do you ever sleep? He leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms. Sleep is for people with nothing to do. I muttered. Sounds like someone with no personal life. He raised an eyebrow. You want to be my personal life? I choked on air. Later that afternoon, I spilled coffee on an important contract. Panicking, I ran to the printer to make a new copy. A senior assistant walked by and scoffed. You really think this job is just about being pretty? I looked up, eyes calm. No, I think it's about handling pressure. And right now, I'm handling it without punching you in the face. She went silent. When I returned to the office, Luke Can looked up. What took so long? Got judged. Almost committed a workplace homicide. He smiled. Actually smiled. You're fitting in already. You're evil. Over the next few days, I worked like my life depended on it. Meeting notes. Done. Coffee order. Memorized. Boardroom setup. Flawless. I even learned to read Luke Can's micro-expressions like a sixth sense. He didn't say much, but somehow he always noticed everything. One morning, I walked in with a bandage on my finger. He glanced at it. What happened? I cut it on a stapler. Minor. The next day, a new ergonomic stapler appeared on my desk. No note, no explanation. Just Luke Can being silently overbearing. During a team dinner, I tried to avoid sitting near him. But just as I took a seat at the far end, his voice rang out. Over here. I froze. Everyone stared. I sat next to him, heart pounding like a drum. Someone joked, wow, Assistant Tham is the favorite now. He didn't deny it. Instead, he leaned close and said quietly, if you're going to keep looking at me like that, at least do it when we're alone. I, internally screaming. The next week, I stayed late to finish a project. As I was packing up, The lights suddenly turned off. I gasped. Hey, who? A hand flicked the switch back on. Luke Can stood there. You forgot to eat. He handed me a lunchbox. I blinked. You made this. He gave a rare smirk. I ordered it. Don't get cocky. But on the lid was my name. Handwritten in sharp, clean strokes.